All right, now that we're done with safety and everything about safety, we're going to roll out our green carpet for sustainability because let's be real, saving the planet is the ultimate plot twist. We're flipping the script from wastefulness and proving that sustainability is not just a buzzword, it's a blockbuster on the making. I would like to welcome our floor of panelists. I've got Travis, I've got Kelly, and I've got Ollie over here. I'll go a little more on details on what each does. I'll start off with Kelly. Kelly is our director in the Marine Animal Operations and Sustainability over at Atlantis, Dubai. With over 13 years of international experience as zoological and sustainability professional, Kelly is responsible for overseeing the 65,000 marine animals under their care. I'd like to ask though, did you count them?
There we go. Every single month. Yeah, we do an inventory. There's actually
Wow.
64,998, but yeah.
Wow. So in addition to that, you drive sustainability across the destination. You're a big believer of driving change through education. Changing mindsets is also essential, and no one will protect what they don't care about. I love that. Ollie or Oliver, whichever way you prefer, right? But I'll go with Ollie is the architect behind transformative tourism destinations, blending luxury and regeneration. Your visionary leadership crafts unforgettable experiences rooted in Saudi Arabia's rich heritage, fostering deep connections between people and places. With a passion for innovation, Ollie collaborates with RSG's experts to deliver impactful solutions spanning from concept to execution as his role as the Senior Director of Adventure and Sports in the Red Sea Global. Welcome on board. Travis, and this was one of my favorites, I'm sorry, I had to say it was one of my favorites bios that I received today. Right, growing up at the foot of the, tell me what mountain it is? Adirondack Mountains in upstate New York. Travis is an avid outdoorsman who is always ready for the next big adventure. A true Renaissance man, he is a master of many things, but takes the most pride in his title as father and husband. In previous lifetimes, Travis was a natural materials expert on the most expensive homes in the United States, and then moved to the development or to the Middle East to oversee construction of the world's largest water parks, and now as Director of Product Development in the Royal Commission of Al Ula. Travis uses his unique international experience as a professional collaborator and niche construction company owner to do what he does best, which is develop exciting projects and build and manage diverse teams to deliver world-class experiences in ever-changing environments. Welcome, guys. We're going to start off easy, perhaps, and maybe you can share with us some of the latest green initiatives that you guys are currently part of or working on. Across the board, anyone is welcome to join.
Okay. So, thank goodness for good copywriters. That was a long bio, kind of embarrassing. And shout out to my wife, Travis. Thanks for putting that one in. Okay, so from our side, look, we've kind of taken this position as Red Sea Global of regenerative, which is always something that I find myself explaining to everybody when we meet and talk. And ultimately for us, it's about this invisible thread that runs through everything we're doing, understanding that everything is interconnected, interdependent. We sit in this interesting place, as I was saying to the guys, between the land and the sea and working between the two. So the way that we try and approach everything, not only from a development perspective, but from an experience perspective, is to try and bring people into that so they actually understand it. So it doesn't feel like marketing speak. It feels like it's part of the experiences that we're building into everything myself and the team do. So that makes us think a little bit more about how we purchase things a little bit more intelligently and work closer with suppliers to make sure that we develop technologies that electrify or think differently. We approach experiences, we don't drop anchors, we think really carefully about everything we're doing to make sure that the development considerations that are happening fall through into the experiential considerations and nothing falls apart, because as I said, it all connects and works together to make sure that we live up and go beyond sustainability a little bit and start to move into renewal, regeneration, leave things better than you found them.
Kelly?
Yeah. I would say so. The one thing that is taking up the majority of my time at the moment is we are becoming at Atlantis Dubai, which is an integrated resort destination. So 2 hotels and a water park. At the moment, I am working on becoming EarthCheck certified gold. So we've been submitting data, we've been employing an environmental management system for the last 4 years, and so retention of that silver certification for 4 years, I can now go to gold. So it's being so nice for me to look at our progress over the last 4 years, how we've grown, how we've developed, and how we really want to take it forward into the future. So that's currently what I'm working on, and it's really exciting.
What I love about this panel is that, if you guys haven't put it together yet, there's land, there's water, and then where's the water meets the land, right? So it's super exciting, and I've looked forward to this panel for quite a while. What's interesting, the other part of the parallels here is that Ali mentioned regeneration. Kelly's instituting new things. I'm taking care of old things, right? So Alula has this incredible culture and heritage, and we have a civilization that has human existence for about 6,000 years. It's one of the oldest places on the planet right now. And then about 2,000 years ago, the Nabateans came and they constructed these absolutely gorgeous temples and tombs. And so not only do we have to look at things from how do we get visitors to come sustainably and think of our tourism plan, but we also have to take care of the things that are super old and UNESCO World Heritage sites. So it's an interesting blend of what's going on throughout the kingdom and in Dubai and the GCC to have the 3 of us on the stage right now. So pretty cool.
Yes, and I like the way you've just split it up. And I'm going to hit with you, Travis, on the land element and Al-Ula. So now, in 2008, the Hijra archaeological site, with its 110 hand-carved stone tombs, was inscribed as the first UNESCO heritage site in Saudi Arabia. How has that, or what impact has that had in the Al-Ula region? And how has the Royal Commission of Al-Ula sustainably planned for the influx of tourism that has flowed in after?
Yeah, the biggest impact is obviously the tourism component. And what happens in any UNESCO World Heritage site is there's an explosion of international recognition of what we have. And so what that does, especially because the Nabateans are the same culture that carved Petra in Jordan, and so now we have this link between an area that has had world recognition, is actually one of the, forget what it is now, it's wonders of the world. Petra is considered one of the modern wonders of the world. And so now people are starting to pay attention to what else did this civilization do? And so the impact that that has had, and I'm just going to read you something very quickly, is we now have a lot of documents that we adhere to. A sustainability planning mandate, a sustainable development mandate, a sustainability charter and framework principle, and a sustainable tourism roadmap. So what that did is it allowed for really intelligent people and really great sustainability consultants to come in and create these roadmaps and these blueprints for us to pay attention to in any guest experience or visitor journey in the entire Alula region.
Okay. What are some of the challenges or sustainability challenges that RCU faces when it comes to this whole unique, I mean, you say you take care of the history and try to maintain that, but the modernization of things is very inevitable. People, bringing so many people, and the tourism element is a modern on its own. So how do they, what are they doing, and what measures are they taking, and what type of challenges do they have when it's a historical meets the modern development direction of Al-Ula?
Yeah, it's one of the unique phrases which I hadn't heard before I joined RCU is something called light touch. And that light touch means that we're only impacting as much as we need to. It's akin to when you go to a website and they ask for cookies and you say accept all or accept all the ones only the ones you need. We only accept the ones we need, right? And so we're not going to overdevelop or create infrastructure that we don't need. we look at what's going to happen over the next 3, 5, 10, 30 years, and we plan accordingly via a smart growth strategy. We are looking at 1 million visitors by 2030. So the expansion rate of a town of 40,000 that's substantial. So there's going to be about 200,000 to 250,000 support people and local full-time residents required to engage and to support a 1 million people coming into town. So if you look at that in any way, shape, or form, that's going to have a huge impact on the environment. It's going to have a huge impact on development. It's going to have a huge impact on natural resources and utilities. And so everything that we're doing is we're thinking about things from a smart growth perspective. So everything that you would expect in the 2030 plan for Saudi is something that we take very seriously, and we actually try and make that especially significant for Alula to be ready for it.
So in the beautiful heart of the desert that is in Al-Ula, right? What do you do about water in that area?
Yeah, great question. I'm going to geek out on everybody for a minute. So Alula is unique in the fact that we have a igneous layer of rock and a sedimentary layer of rock over it. And so what happens is after it rains over about 1 million years, that sedimentary rock becomes a big sponge. And that sponge holds the water. And so what's unique about Alula is that we have a true oasis. And about 2,000 years ago, 2,200 years ago, the people that settled there were able to tap into these aquifers. And using a system called a Qanat, Q-A-N-A-T, you can look it up, it's super cool. They figured out how to drill into the land, and through hydrostatic pressure, were able to get the water out of the ground. That's still the process used today. We're still pulling water out of the ground in Alula. What's interesting, though, is we are nowhere near able to use just that water for our future growth. So we do have to look into, so that we don't create these hydrostatic issues and depletion, we are looking at doing a desalinization all the way from the coast. So we do have to plan for it.
Thank you. Now, speaking of water, Kelly, I'm coming over to you. Could you share with us about some of the initiatives, or the green initiatives to be in specific, that Atlantis Dubai has rolled out previously, or is currently rolling out, or is considering, and how these projects impact both the business and sustainability? Because at the end of the day, we are a business.
Yeah.
Right?
That is really true. And one of the things that I think is best is if you connect all of your projects, or as much as you can, with your guests, because then you're going to get your guests seeking value in your brand. You're going to get your guests returning. An example of this is that we are an ocean theme resort. We're right in the middle of the ocean, on the Palm, and we do have animals under our care. So it's really important that one of the things that we do is concentrate on marine conservation to differentiate us from other properties, but also just because it's the right thing to do. The reason we have animals at the property is to educate people, to inspire them to protect nature, and so therefore a lot of what we do is centered around marine conservation. So every single time a guest comes to the resort and participates in one of our programs, we take $1 and we take that out of our revenue. It's not a donation that they give additionally, and then we put that back into local marine conservation projects around the UAE. And this is things like dolphin surveys off the coast of Dubai to better understand the population. This is like a shark and ray research in areas that are being developed and urbanized. This is public awareness campaigns on plastic and single-use reduction. And so we've just found it's really important in your business model to connect exactly what you're doing to your guests, which then connects your colleagues, and then it becomes an all-round great project to do, because not only are you helping the environment, but you're also connecting back into your stakeholders and the community.
Okay, and on the note of making sure that we're connecting with the community as well, with today's time and today's world, right, there's a lot of technology that comes into everything. Yeah. Could you give us some ideas or some examples of technology solutions that have been used to further offset the carbon?
Yeah, we're working on a couple of projects at the moment. One of the biggest bits of feedback we're getting from our guests is that they're concerned about food waste. And obviously food waste, waste to landfill, it is huge, especially when there's an industry standard in hotels to be luxurious and abundant in food giving, and so that always generates waste. So we've installed kind of food waste technology which scans your food, so when you dispose of it you can see exactly what you're throwing away, so that chefs can make better informed decision on what to put on the buffet the next day. For example, something as simple as this has allowed us to save around 40% food waste just from our buffets, which at Atlantis is huge. And we're just trying to put technology into all our areas of operation. We've recently got what we call an aqua band, which is a wristband technology in the water park. So instead of wristbanding with paper bands, we're now giving a wearable, which is reused and reprogrammed every single day. And again, just allowing us to do that. A lot of what we're doing, we've gone digital and paperless. So again, just to reduce our waste and just be more responsible. We've just installed, I know that this is, it's not so super new, but we just installed solar panels and using a new technology, over 2,000 panels recently. And again, just, I suppose investing in technology might seem a bit, I suppose, expensive at the time. However, you will get that return on your investment, I would say normally within a couple of years, you know, because you're saving on items that you're just disposing of all the time. So why not go and use technology to help you invest in what is ultimately a return that you will see financially in your business.
And you've just touched base on what I wanted to get to as well, is investing in technology comes with quite that number on that. You're right, your invoice is not going to be cheap. It's going to be a high number sometimes based on the technologies you're looking for, especially in today's world. Now, in the various projects that we have here on the table, right, whether it's in the desert, at the sea, or in between, right, what are we looking from in terms of an economic benefit of investing in such technology that serves the green initiatives and sustainability?
Okay. So look, in terms of economic benefit, there's a variety of things that we're approaching here. Over the time of Red Sea is now looking at developable areas up and down 1,700 kilometers of coastline. So the sheer scale of the projects is huge. We've got the Red Sea, which has just gone live, so that's got the first 3 or 4 hotels that are popping up now, St. Regis, Ritz Reserve. We've got problems with mobility, challenges, let's say, that in order to retain a sustainable agenda, you need to make sure that you're able in rural areas to produce the services and shared services that supply things like mobility, supply things like laundry, supply things, power even, 750,000 PV panels that are out there currently powering our islands. How do we design things to invest a bit more, but over the time, look at the net value of the increase in biodiversity within our destination, because we've actually been able to reduce the impact we've done through development and experiences. So I think the important thing with the way that we've approached this is we're looking at the natural assets as a value. We're actually working hard to look at this kind of blue economy space as to how do we actually value these in terms of the draw they have to our destination that brings people to it, and how do we change that into a value that offsets the investment we make, which is more than others, into being a sustainable destination, producing hydrogen to power some of the vessels we're looking at in the future, investing in electrified motorboats, Candela, etc., that we're working on. So it's about us being able to look at the benefit that nature around us is providing in terms of sustaining a flow of people, and like Travis said, we're only having 1 million people come to the Red Sea. We're only having 500,000 come to Amala. And so we've really set ourselves a difficult challenge in terms of the cost of building in these challenging destinations. But the value that draws people in is the natural heritage of the site and the communities around us. So in a way, adding back to that economy positions us as doing more than just being a tourism destination, but being part of an economy that's moving together to benefit the kingdom as a whole. So it's understanding your part in that, the interdependencies both of nature and people and planet, but also of all of this ecosystem up and down the coast, of which we have that sense of responsibility. The ability to buy big enables us to actually invest further and cap that to be able to make good money from what we're trying to do, but it will be over time. You know, this is an investment that is looking to the next 100 years to benefit the kingdom and its kind of future.
Kelly?
Oh,
Whoa.
I was so engrossed, I've completely lost track of what the question was. I was like, yeah, that sounds really good.
let's benefit the
What was the
kingdom.
question?
The economic benefits of investing in technology that serves green initiatives and sustainability.
Yeah, I mean, kind of leaning on what I said before. Every single time we've put in some kind of technology, we're saving on that. For example, the food waste one, we made our money back within a year just on the food that we weren't throwing away. We recently installed a bottling plant so that we could bottle our own water and send it up to the rooms. And again, you know, that saved within 1 year we paid back for that bottling plant just from not buying single-use bottles all the time. And so again, you just I was actually facing the problem that everybody was thinking that becoming more sustainable or doing these projects would cost them so much and it would be hard to get the return. But actually, every single project that we're doing, and I take every single one by itself, we're seeing the return on investment almost, well, I would say a year is pretty instantly. But for example, room amenities, the shower, the conditioner and the shower gel, we just installed those in rooms, and yeah, within a year we're going to be saving $1 million even by doing that. So again, I would just take it project by project and not be scared to look at it in its entirety. But I'm really not finding any non-economical benefits for the majority of projects that I'm doing. Yeah.
One thing that I'm going to get to both of what our other panelists said. One thing that Ali alluded to, which is really unique and fun for both what Ali and I do, is that he's protecting the natural habitats. I'm protecting the natural heritage. And so what's great is that stuff already exists. There's nothing more sustainable than utilizing something that's already there, right? No offense, Cal, but you guys have had to build everything, right? And so how do you create a guest experience around something that's there and that's amazing to enjoy? And so it's a different mindset than a lot of what's happening in this room and this at the SEA Expo, which is there's a lot of products here, right? We're creating experiences based around things that already exist. We don't need the products. But what we do need is to create a sustainable way for people to get to enjoy those and also to protect those. And then part two of that statement is the technology is, we're looking at it from and this is what Kelly alluded to earlier, is with the RFID wristbands that Atlantis has, we're looking at the data that's collected to create better guest experiences. That's not only from a visitor journey, but it's also from operations, and it's also from safety, it's also from vehicular and pedestrian circulation, it's getting from one place to another, it's all of that. All of that leads into better efficiencies. The better efficiency, the more sustainable.
Just on that, I had the first time SEA, which is growing and growing and growing, when it was in a kind of closet in the middle of Riyadh. I did a keynote called Natural Attractions, and that was really awkward because it was trying to tell a room of people that build things to not do it. But the interesting thing that came out of that was the intelligence. It's not just about the physical build of things and products. The intelligence in this room as to how you can use what's there, but reframe the capabilities of everybody that's within this environment to light it up, to draw attention to it, to build in experiences that would be otherwise created and fabricated, but you can create journeys and moments throughout this, to use technologies to enhance what's in nature, to overlay mixed reality, to gamify the wild so that you can collect tokens, so that you can collect things, even earn your dinner for that night, to really take a spin on it. But it's about using differently the intelligence that's in this building to try and give another angle to the way that we do things in the wild, where it might just be the addition of technology and the creative mind that could bring it to life.
So Ollie, we've talked about regenerative tourism.
Yes.
What is that?
So look, it's being able, as I said, it's being able to leave things better than you found them. So what do I mean by that? It's understanding that in order to approach sustainability and in effect go further than it, regeneration in effect means renewal. It means to new life. It means to kind of breathe this new life into the destination. So how do you do that when you're building things, right? How do you do that when you're building things in somewhere that hadn't previously been built upon? You have to think in the way that you've both been saying, in that how can I invest differently, how can I build differently, because inevitably places of great beauty are going to have people that find them. And it's a responsibility that's been taken on to use materials in construction, use construction styles, we've got a great thing where one of our islands that's just opened has St. Regis. It has next to it an osprey island, which is full of nesting ospreys that come and visit and fly over, and you can chart their journey throughout. A lot of the wildlife has grown back stronger just simply because of what we've done to enable and how we've rebuilt elements of it that was just through nature, time, humanity has been worn down. So identifying the invisible effect that you have on nature is the biggest thing, and understanding, as we all do, that everything is interconnected, everything is interdependent. So if what we do in the south affects the north, what we do on the coast affects the reef. So all of these things, if you're able to bring that together and then have an environmental team that every time you want to look at, I'm going to do this, it's like, stop and let me tell you what you should do, and let me work with you, more importantly, to do this better. That's really what we're striving for.
So it sounds like you work very much with communities that currently exist, right? You're surrounded by these towns and communities that are existing. How do you work with the community leaders and the groups themselves to try to spread the intelligence that you guys have to benefit the entire coastline?
Yeah. So look, I think regeneration is, naturally you go into sustainability and you tie that to the environment, but it's about planet and people, So for us, we're coming into a rural area. We're between Umluj and Alwaj, which is Jahina and Balowi in terms of the families that live there. And so for us, it was always important to talk and identify what was wanted from this destination, explore, as Travis is doing, the history of the destination, but also employ everybody to be part of it. You don't want me to talk about the history of the Hajj route and the trade routes, and you don't even want me to talk about Lawrence of Arabia and his interruption on things. It's about talking about from the history of your grandfather, your grandmother, your past. It's that richness that you need to do. So without a doubt, the first thing we tried to do was bring people into it. And so we've got a team that's in our adventure team, there's 70% Saudi, and of that, there's 60% of that is from the local communities. So we're aiming to get to 80% from our surrounding communities, but it's about the training, it's about growing people and having that group of intelligence come in to support what everybody needs to think about, safety, as we spoke about previously in the session, and really infuse that. Then it's about enabling people that have been producing food, mangoes and the honey that's in the mountains, and bringing that in, not putting the pressure on a small production, but bringing that in and having it as limited batch that sits within hotels, that just draws that identity. Otherwise, you're at risk of being the same as every other destination that has the same topography and geology and environment as we do. So you have to establish identity. That comes from the environment, and that comes from the people, and that needs to be first.
Okay. We talk about preservation, we talk about conservations, we talk about keeping the way things were, we talk about enhancing that nature through its nature itself. I want to wrap this up and really ask a question that a lot of us here in this industry tend to have in question, right? How do we ensure that the green initiatives that we have are actually authentic and not just greenwashed for PR purposes? And this is to the floor.
No, it's a difficult question, you know, because we're dealing constantly with that label, and I think that's probably an overseas narrative of something what somebody hasn't visited. So for me, it's always come and visit, come and test it. You know, we invite everybody from press or from people or however we want to do this. The proof is being able to be in it and experience it and test it. It's not a vernacular that comes via an opinion from a distant computer. It's actually come to Saudi, see what's happening here, understand it, and you will be much clearer as we're actually walking the talk.
I would just say a lot of this is about building public trust, and the one thing that I found is having kind of certifications to stand by has been really important for us. Somebody who can come in and verify all of the data, every statement we make, we can back that up with data, which I think is really, really important, and that helps you as a business prevent greenwashing, because a lot of the time, I just did a lecture on it about a week ago, a lot of the time people throw around the word sustainability a little bit too much at the moment, and my job is to kind of pull that back in and get people to be specific in their statements, what is making us more sustainable, and just being really truly authentic about the message in which you're delivering. The last thing our guests want is to feel like we are not, I suppose, backed up by really robust data and information. Yeah.
Travis?
One thing that Saudi is doing incredibly well is they're learning from the rest of the world. And so what I love about our team at RCU is that we have experts in these fields. And we're not just asking a consulting firm or a third party to come in and write us a report that we follow. We actually have people that are sustainability experts that are driving the initiatives that have been established in these reports. And nobody just comes in and then drops a report on the desk and then leaves. It's this person's job. And what's great about that is this person is also, it's fascinating.
You've got a band, Travis. You have a band.
There's a band
It
coming.
always happens at 4:45.
Yeah.
Well timed.
But what's
Do you
great?
want to stand up and finish this speech?
Yeah.
I know. Well, apparently time's out, and we're.
Yeah, see, that's a
like-
clear indicator.
This
but
is the
Travis
equivalent
went
of like the
after
hook.
This is a hell of a way to get us
off.
off stage, by the way.
Yeah.
Smoke machine.
Anyway, the last thing that I just want to say is the idea of these sustainability experts engaging with the local community, as Ali mentioned also, is that we're building things to last. None of these are 1, 3, 5-year projects. These are 30, 50, 100-year establishments that we're bringing to the kingdom. And I'll stop there.
This is testing.
I think he
Travis's
deserves a round of
threshold
applause
right
for
now.
getting through that. Woo!
Thank you. Thank you very
Sustaining.
much. We've run out of time and it's quite noisy on the outside. If you guys have any questions, which I'm sure you would, please reach out to any of our speakers after this panel discussion so we can roll on to the next one. Thank you very much, Ollie,
you.
Kelly, and Travis for your time today.
you.
Thank you.